Yes, people. Welcome. We're back to the Two Real G's featuring
Why?
featuring the man of the hour, Mr. Essex Spitter, Mr. Themes for days.
Why?
Come on. Idris Miles joining us today, and this is a big pleasure for myself, man. Idris is a local podder, man. It's good to see the ends just doing.
Hey,
I'm
stand up.
I'm honored. I'm here. I'm ready. Alive. Blessed. We're ready. Let's go. I'm excited for this one.
Sick. The honor is ours, bro, and especially for me.
I can feel the bounce, but the bounce is coming through. The energy is mad. I can feel like I can imagine the music that he's listening to. Even I can hear it. I can feel the bounce.
Listen, only smooth jazz on Sundays like this, bro. Get me? Come on, that's it. That's it.
So Idris, you've been. I'll say you've been like a hood. I say hood, the hood, as in our ends. You've been at ends stuff for a second, bro. You've been really shining the light for the rap scene, and the authentic rap as well, where it's not, it's not the drill, it's not the side of the music. It is a very real person vibe. So I would just be interested in knowing your journey from the ends, like how you a brother from Essex, making the music you're making at the moment.
It's a different one still. Like, it's one of those ones where obviously, like, I grew up on grime, innit? Like, grime was the thing for me, because obviously I moved from Plaistow. My brothers were from Bow. Like, it was there for me, and older brothers just showing me music. Channel U was blazing back in the day and stuff like that. So man was just learning the ins and outs of the grime music and stuff. And then as I got older, it's weird. It's like I got introduced to a new avenue of music. So like I was hearing old school hip stuff like that. My dad showed me 80s music and everything just kind of intertwined, and I'm taking little bits of it subconsciously to just what my sound is today. Do you know what I mean? So
did you say then? When you say you're taking bits of old school hip hop just then?
Yeah, old school hip hop. Yeah, like I'm big into like my Slum Village and Far Side, innit? Like I love that sort of like Tribal Quest and like even just Erica's as well, like Lauryn Hill's, all of that stuff. Just like I take in little bits and whatnot, and that's what inspires me to this day, So yeah, just little bits and bobs and stuff. Bearing in mind, obviously, from school days, it weren't predominantly Afro Caribbean cultures, you get me? So I'm spitting my bars and stuff, and people didn't really want to hear it. But then I found like a mesh of people that I'd go to like Romford and spit bars with on the corner shops, like or like chicken shop on the corners and stuff like that, and just go from there, So it's I'm finding a culture in every little gap and pocket and just trying to make it my own, especially in these areas. So yeah, man. Yeah. That's it.
And I'm glad you mentioned Romford, man. There was a point where Romford was like, I feel like we was on the outskirts, obviously. Kind of gradually Dagenham, Romford, Hornchurch, kind of you're getting deeper into Essex. And I feel like Romford was our melting point. It was where everyone just, it was like that thing. We all came to kind of converge.
It was like the hub, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? Like we was essentially from the outside looking in. When like you research like the hip hop, it was New York, innit? Yeah. Like you had like and just from that ways, and then you had the South coming up and stuff like that. People were looking on from the outside looking in and going, "No, man wants a piece of that." Yeah, I felt like it was exactly that way. We was all trying to do our thing. Like ends weren't ends, but we was making ends meet. Do you get me? Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's that, fam. So yeah, it was what we made of it. So
yeah. Definitely. I think it's really interesting. You talk about obviously having moved into the area from Plaistow. I think for a lot of us, a lot of like a lot of like black boys around our kind of age, maybe like a little span of like 3-4 years. A lot of them have that story of moving from like, you came from Plaster, you said, like relatives in Bow. I came from Leytonstone, so just a little bit further up the road from you, east.
Yeah, exactly.
I came from Leytonstone, and then went through like Newbury Park, Ilford, and then eventually out to Collier Row in the end. So, and then like, and a lot of like, we mentioned a lot of our friends in the last show, even General. Did General always live in Essex, Dowder?
No. Well, actually, when he moved to the UK, I think he ended up first. He went down Hainault sides. Then he was in charge.
Okay. Still kind of Essex, but like, say for instance, like someone like Kay lived in Camden, like for a long time, like Portland Street. So like a lot of, it's really funny how like through lots of different, different routes, that culture, that sort of more gritty inner city, inner London, like, that picture that you'd really associate with grime kind of migrated in to like these more rural areas, like,
that's it though.
all that kind of around the same time.
It's the general consensus of like, obviously, I say from my personal experience, because a lot of times I'm hearing these stories is from people that are based in Newham, innit? From like the east, like the east side, like the Plastors and the West Hams and they're moving out to Essex just because of the generation before us, just making sure that their children have a better lifestyle than what it is based in London.
100%.
But like the generation before us was trying to move us out the area, and bring us into Essex because obviously it was nicer places and stuff like that. But it's, when you can't, like, you take the kid out the manor, but you can't take the manor out the kid. It's one of those. It's one of those ones where all of it's happened now, but it's built a scene in itself. Like it's still what it's still what it is. Like you see, you can get the taste of East from these ends and stuff like that. And you're seeing a lot of artists come up from like Romford Ways and Dagenham and stuff like that. Like it's kind of made a scene in itself. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So,
and I think because of that, like, again, that migration from all of these different ends, like the sound within like our little outskirts bubble is so varied. Like you get so many different flavors, like so many different kinds of bitters. Yeah, man, it's a real energy. It's a real energy because, like I say, obviously, like having lived in like not the same place, but a place very close to you, just down the road. Like this is the first, like when I was listening to the track we're gonna hear later, I was like, wow, man, ain't heard this kind of vibe like come out at the end before. Like this is mad. This is like where's this been hiding? And obviously it's been there all along. And it's just one of them things where it's like, so many different sounds and styles and ways of approaching a craft. Like it's mad. It's mad. It's really
it is mad. There's people that I know that people have not heard, but they're my inspiration. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's I find power with amongst the people that I work with and listen to and stuff like that. And I obviously, like, without doing my own hole, like I'm cold in it. But if you hear the people that I'm listening to, the world ain't ready for them.
Yeah,
I feel that, man. I think this is gonna be the third episode in a row where we're just like, the friends that we grew up with, we're great musicians, and sometimes I feel like we take it for granted how sick and how lucky we are to have talented people around us that can give us the spark, because some of them don't do music no more, but it's because of that spark they gave us that we're still kind of pursuing what we're pursuing.
Exactly, fam. I can still hear bars from back in the day that man have said, bro, and it powers me through.
Yeah.
You get me? So yeah, man.
Yeah, so we was talking about the I guess that how this area became, I guess, a melting point, a meeting point for so many different cultures. And you did make a good point about it being with regards to our parents wanted to move us out, and obviously Essex at that time, cheaper, nicer, quieter as well. Although obviously the race relations was a mazza. Because I remember when I first, the race relations was scary. But I think there's also that the forced side of it that we don't look at. There's this kind of the regeneration, the moving of people out. So lately, a lot of people from our ends have been moved deeper into Essex. And I feel like in the next 5 years, we're going to see another surge of a new sound coming from that deeper Essex sound.
We most definitely will.
But
most definitely will.
Have you? I mean, I know my answer to this, but do you feel like there was a reluctancy for us to what's the word I'm looking for, to embrace our area, especially for people who moved from inside?
I felt like obviously when we when you moved out, I remember this vividly. Yeah, I was in the moving truck on the way to Upminster because that's where I moved. Yeah,
why?
I moved to Upminster, and I was in a moving truck, and people. There was a group of school kids. They were primary school kids, so at the time they were probably like 3-4 years younger than me. Yeah, and they looked shocked when they looked through the windscreen. Right. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they hadn't seen face like this. Do you get what I'm saying? So I kind of got the consensus from there, like, right, this is gonna be different. Do you get me? I'm not a shy person. I'm just one of those people that kind of like just blends in with the crowd and likes to socialize and rat-tat-tat. So I was doing that, but then you could clock like that styles were different from over there. Like you was a different person. You was a outsider to people and stuff. So you got that flavor from people, but I kind of used that as motivation. You get me? Like if you don't like me now, boy, you're gonna like me by the end of in a few years' time. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And that same way when I'm rapping and stuff, like I love to rap. My brothers rapped in it, so for me, rap was like the big thing. Like if my brothers are doing it, then I've got to do it, and I've got to do it better, and I've got to come harder than them. Like, I've got to be someone that they're proud of. So I'm doing the rapping stuff, and people didn't want to hear it. They're like, "What, your shit?" Blah blah. Obviously, I weren't, but they just wanted to say that to just dampen man's mood. But you just take that as inspiration to just to power through and stuff. So it's made me the man I am now. It's bittersweet because obviously I would have loved to change a couple things, but it is what it is, and it's made me who I am. So I can't fault it. I think when we said about people moving out to Essex and stuff like that, and there's going to be a new scene or a new generation of coming out and making music, I think we should learn from mistakes of older than grand don't want to bring the young ones in. Do you get what I'm saying? But we, as people right now, writers and lyricists and stuff, we should be nurturing the area scene and bringing them through, bro. So yeah, definitely learn from that. Learn from what our experiences have been, and handle it for them so they have it easier.
Definitely. And I think especially coming from somewhere that's not inside of London, like, you know, we see it with people from Birmingham and stuff like that. The barrier of like when you're not from a certain area where that sound originated, people instantly don't want to take you in the same way. So I think
of course not.
As you said,
people stick to what they know.
Simple, yeah, it is that. Even having a different accent on the genre will put some people off. Like, but talking about being different, because you are different, my guy. Like I said, you know what I mean. Brace said it. Your sound is very unique, and I don't think just for East London. I think as a general UK style, you've got a one, a certainty about what you're doing that I love. Like, you know where your strengths lie, you know where your style really comes to flare, and I can see you bring it out in certain songs, which is amazing. But also just your things. Like, how was that for you? Like, because you must have sounded different from the get-go. How was that transition into kind of being like, okay, it's not exactly what everyone else is doing, but it's still sick? Like, how did you...
Of course, I think, like I said, like I take the best elements out of everything. So when I was listening to Grime back in the day, it was purely Gets, Kano, Dot Rotten. like and Skeppy as well. Like the flows is obviously where my forte lies in it. And then from there, obviously, we started having a scene of like gigs. Joe Black, Blade Brown, where the bars were coming hard, and obviously, man pinpointed those things as well. Obviously, with a lot of help of friends as well. I'll shout out someone right now, man, like Adrian. Yeah, he taught me the word plays and stuff like that. Man sounded like old school Krypton Conan, you know, the little bars that might flow over your head and you need to grab them real quick. He showed me how to work that. And then obviously, but I was still on the grand tempos. I didn't really like slowing it down. And then I heard the old school hip hop flavors and I was like, rah, there's pockets there where the flow can sit in. Do you get me? So I learned that from like the Far Side and the Tribe Called Quest type of things and stuff like that. So like you can put the skippy flow in hip hop, and then I just kind of learned how to use what I had on all variants of tempo. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like obviously Rome weren't built in a day, but I'm learning these things as I go. There's still a lot more that I can learn, but I think I've learned the fact to embrace and not fight culture, kind of accept it, take what I can from it, and use it into what is me in it. So that's the true skill, truly.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the evolution of yourself as an artist, and like, you know, I guess it's what all artists definitely, like, I know for myself and Souls, like as lyricists, as rappers, spoken word, like that evolution, it has to keep happening always.
Most
like
definitely.
I love when you describe the pockets, you talk about pockets like that, the flow setting, like that's something I wouldn't say missed in the UK scene, because it is in the UK scene, but obviously like when you compare it to like grime and all of the things that have like come afterwards, like derivatives, if you want to say, like that kind of UK hip hop, like that's kind of, you know, a little bit similar to like, you know, the kind of conscious rap out of the US is like still really, really underground, and like only, you know, you have to be in the right crowd to really know what's going on in them circles. And but I think it's something that like when you pair it up then with like these faster tempos that you get from grime or from, you know, say the more historically like popular urban British music, like it's a deadly combination, boy. It's a deadly combination.
It's a force
really
to not be reckoned with.
Yeah, man, you can really hear it in your stuff. Like you can hear all of like the considerations that you take. Like for me, I'm a really musical, like I really love like kind of the what would you call it, like the building blocks, the foundations, like so like the rhythms and the flows and like the repetitions and how you like structure your rhyme schemes and all of these things like that. Like I love them kind of there. It's like you got more stuff to draw from when you listed off like all of the influences and like what you took from them. It's just like the arsenal is big. It's mad.
No, of course, yeah, that's it, bro. It's basically just trying to get your starting 11 right. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So just take you got to take the key players in and know how to work them and stuff.
Yeah. That's it. And it changes from obviously from beat to beat, tempo to tempo, style to style, and that like what that's such a good analogy. Like picking like not gonna have Matip in central defense today, man's gonna go for Van Dijk, kind of, you know, that kind of approach to it. Like, exactly what you select. That's when you're really like, what's the I had to say that's I think that's just when you're really firing. You know, when that's like, it needs this, it needs that. I'm gonna switch this out. I'm gonna switch that out. Like
and it comes across with how varied, even the tape, the full tape, rather than the single where focus on the full tape of Miles. It's, you know, the varied sounds, and like you come with a flavor that, you know, it's like, you know, the same ingredient will never taste the same in every single dish. So it's like the same consistent ingredient, but every dish is coming with different flavor. So it was
coming with different flavor. Yeah, exactly. But it's but there's ways to navigate through that. Do you get me? Like the dish can obviously, man, if you need spice one day, it needs spice one day. If you want it sweeter one day, you can get it sweeter. you get what I'm saying? But the core elements are there. Do you get me? So it's just about the season.
Boy, about the seasoning.
Come on.
Yeah, I think it's a good time for us to actually just get into the song, and then we can talk a bit more about the song and the tape itself. Just before I play it, there's a thing you said about repetition, and there's a bit in this where you do that. That sticks with me every time, and that's the big way of using repetition there. So, anyway, so we're gonna listen to that. We're gonna advise that. Everyone else is gonna hear a snippet, and do check out the link. You can even pause it, go check out the full track. But else right now, we're going by about back in a second.
I be the king, I tell
the video bangs as well, bro.
Yo,
come on, bro.
Polar, North Pole, South Pole, I'm still cold.
Hey.
Yeah,
let me just.
Like, stepped in, wrecked it. See how repetitive life gets. I'm high on a wave, I don't ride jets, but I stay in the sky like the righteous. Hand me the mic, otherwise other guys by my side I feel a better pick a fight next. And I just want a quick 16 so I can dip quickly like wife with the lights dim. Riding, sitting on the waves of Poseidon. I bet you feel amazing when I fuck hard. I count your chickens before the niggas go ripen. Sipping on the 6, look at the ice said yours on my spine, I'm alive. I'm not an alcoholic. I am not an alcoholic, and I promise I could stop it if it wasn't for the fact that I like it. I said it all, I be riding, out here, breathing. I be out here, morning to the evening. I be, wait, I be, believe it. Wait, they want more, hold up, wait, repeat it. I be riding, out here, breathing. I be out here, morning to the evening. I be, wait, I be, believe it. Wait, they want more, yeah. Stepped out, burnt some diesel for that diesel, Don't really smoke on illegal, but fuck it, I'll do it, I'm feeling evil, Let me put my life on the easel, ups and downs like seesaws or a Bible, I think they run for my people, Entomophobia, I told them we like the Beatles, please be relieved, I deeply believe that, please be the key, so please speak to me, I be keeping these thoughts, so I can preach my mind, it's IDRIS, MILES, energy divine, they just wanna waste my time, but they can never take my shine. Why? I be riding, out here, breathing. I be out here, morning to the evening. I be, wait, I be, believe it. Wait, they want more. Hold up, wait, repeat it.
Bro.
Wait.
Even the video as well. I'm gonna tell everyone now. There's a video out right now. Idris Miles riding. Check it out, and then check out the tape. Miles, it's on all the profiles, all the platforms, man.
On all the profiles. Check.
Where can we buy it? Where can we buy it?
Hey, listen, I'm really trying to get the hard copies out at the moment, innit? So it's in process. I'm trying to find the best. Obviously, CDs, digital CDs, they're gonna be a thing. But I'm trying to see whether people want the collectible, like the cassette or the vinyl. So I can then release it out as a thing. I've got a show March the 6th as well. So I'm trying to coordinate it with that date. So once we get that, then obviously at the show, people can buy the stuff. There's going to be merch and everything like that. So yeah, man, in a big way.
Sick. So let's get into it. Let's get into this song, man. Reason I actually picked this, man, I was listening to this track and it actually reminded me a little bit of the first theme we had for our first episode, which was Perseverance, which we did with Brian, and this idea of just keep going. But yours actually gave me this other thing of like how much you give, how much as an artist that you can give and keep giving, and knowing that you've given a certain level, but you just have to keep giving and you have to keep progressing in that regards. So what was your thing when you was writing this? What was your, I guess, thought track behind that? What was your...
I think obviously like the message behind that song kind of escalated the more I wrote it. Do you know what I mean? So when we first started making this song, me and my good friend Ryan J, who's obviously on the production, he made that, and it was just a simple studio session. He was like, "Yo, write a 16 to this," and then made that. Do you get me? So the first verse, if you hear it, obviously is very laid back. bit melodic, but you just vibes with it. Do you get me? So yeah, we just wrote it like that. The second verse come on a different date when I was feeling a different type of way, and I wanted to put a little bit more because obviously it talks a bit more like people not even trying to hear what you're saying. Like there's unacceptance to the people. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they run for my people. Entomophobia, I think that we like the Beatles, yeah. Which is kind of like obviously like the Beatles, legendary figures in life, but people are people are scared to see that. Do you get me? Entomophobia is like a fear of beetles, insects. So
right.
Yeah.
Man went deep with it like that, yeah.
It's a bar.
Yeah, it's kind of like I wanted to get back to feeling myself basically. So that's what I'm saying. Like I like spelling my name out and saying energy divine in it, like reassuring myself that I'm the one in it. Yeah, and then obviously on the third verse, I think I was doing just a writing session with my boy in it, and like we was like, fuck it, should we just write? And I didn't even write to that beat. I was just writing a verse. I wrote the verse in the space of 10 minutes, and I was like, wait, that could fit into this tune. And I was like, it fits perfectly. And then obviously, yeah, so that just came into balance. So, but I feel like it works well because obviously, where you're saying like giving it to them and putting a lot in as an artist, I wanted to show how far and how progressive it can really get. From a standpoint of, okay, I'm a rapper, but do you know I'm a rapper? Like, do you really want to hear the bars? Hence why I don't stop at the end of the beat. I wanted to carry on. Do you get me? So to the limit. When you're riding a bike, you want to know how fast it goes. Do you get me?
That's right.
So, definitely.
That's right, bro. Yeah, but you're talking to the right one.
Yeah.
So now that it's interesting you said that, because I was thinking if it was a conscious thing, because the song itself builds up, builds up, the energy builds up, the flow builds up, everything about it, like, and also the passion in what you're saying. If you got me, like there's at first it's like, okay, yeah, and then it's like, actually, what? I'm sick, and then it's like, nah, you man, I'm fucking sick. Like, and there is that thing about having to reassure yourself, because there is so much you can give without getting back. Maybe like, do you ever feel like there was a point where the appreciation for what you're giving out wasn't on par with what you was giving out?
I always feel like that. I feel like whatever I give, it needs 100% acceptance, but it will never be 100% acceptance. Hence why I still carry on making music, just carrying on and just releasing more and more and outdoing myself every time. You know what I'm saying? So it brings out the best of me. So that's it, man.
Sick. What do you want people, like, I guess there's always a message you want people to take from our songs, especially when a song has a meaning to us as well. When there's when people listen to this, like, and not just artists, like, as in just normal people, like, what do you want them to get at? Like, what's the message from there?
I guess two things. Like, one, obviously, like, because I speak on a lot of like appropriate topics of like the today and now. So I guess one message is obviously like, it's okay. Do you get me? Like obviously, like things can obviously not go your way on one day, but it's okay. Like I'm obviously not the biggest person. I'm not Drake or Kendrick or Cole, but you can count me in the circle of the little man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to just do it for us. So it's okay to feel like that. Just keep on persevering like how I do. The second message is, right, he's sick. Get me?
Tell them. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely blow your own trumpet, man. Definitely blow your own trumpet.
You got to. It has to be that. It's helping me to help you in a sense. Do you get me? So like, I'm gonna carry on doing this forever, but I need people to reciprocate. Do you get me? So yeah,
for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, there's my favorite bit actually is in the chorus when it's there's an element to that. They want more, yeah. And it sounds simple, but the element of like, what, you want more? Cool, I'm giving it to you then. Like there's anything behind that. It's not a cockiness. It's just you're sure that you can provide it. And I like.
Of course. The barrel's never empty. Barrel's never empty.
Sick.
So yeah.
Sick.
Take what you want.
In the whole tape. So this is obviously from our wider project album. We call it album. Yep.
Yeah, we'll definitely call it an album.
Sick.
So
congrats.
Thank you.
No, it's a great project, man. And it's like you could tell the thought has been put into it. There's elements for everyone, and but there's still you. It's a lot of Idris, which is great. And I've been privy to Idris from very early. So I know like
from way back.
And you're really honing in on things that make you Idris, but then I could see from this, you're really like, okay, I want to give other people that maybe it's not all about what Idris does before, but it's gonna be everything else, and you really bought into that. But is there any other tracks on the album and the project that you feel like encompass that? Or first off, which is your favorite song on the album? What's your favorite?
First of all, like you're absolutely right in what you're saying. Like obviously it was a kind of like, if people know me, this album, you'll laugh at it, because obviously it shows all aspects of who I am. People who don't know me, this is me in a nutshell. And also it's kind of like a refresher for people. Like before this, I didn't drop it. The last project I dropped was 2015, and that was me in university and stuff like that. So that this was the kind of, I haven't spoke to the people in a while. Let's show them where I am at now. Do you get me? So I like to think of it like a time skip in an anime. When
quick side. What's your favorite time skip in anime?
Right now I'm watching a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen. But I'd say favorite of all time, it has to be either Hunter x Hunter or what are we saying? Maybe Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works.
Okay, I like Fate. I'm sorry, it's greatest time skip though. Their timing that what's the thing that to go the fight tower, yeah. That.
Yeah.
Sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah, when he starts learning them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're there now. Yeah.
We're there. Dada, what's yours?
My favorite has got to be the One Piece, but the after this, they stormed the Celestial Palace, and when they all had to get sent to different bits. You see that little time, and then
the time skip. This is what I'm telling you. You see that time skip? I lived that, fam.
He come back 5 years later. He's on gear 3. He's ready. You know what I mean?
Big smoke, fam. Big smoke.
It's One Piece is disgusting right now, boy. It's absolutely.
Listen, what?
It's
in the 1-0 arc,
yeah, boy, it's fire. Oh my days!
Honestly, if we don't stop now, this will turn into a whole complete different podcast.
All right. So I'm gonna end with my one. I'm gonna end with my favorite. I was gonna say One Piece, to be honest. I was gonna say One Piece, but then something just crept up. And I was like, you know what? The Naruto time skip is kind of sick, It does come back.
It is.
But what was your favorite piece on the album?
It changes almost every week, man. Like I listen to it. I listen to it like a consumer as well, because I'm genuinely just so proud of the work. When I first started making the project, my favorite song was the intro. Just for the simple fact, obviously, it's kind of it reminds you of like coming back from the time skip, and everyone's like excited to see you and stuff, and they're like, so what's been going on? And when I was writing it, when I was writing the whole album, it sounds obviously very obvious to say, but I started with the intro first because I just wanted to get the bars off my chest and stuff in it.
Yeah.
So like, I released Full weren't even supposed to be on the album. And then once I released Full and it got such a big thing, I was like, okay, cool, say no more. I'm making an album, and I found a beat and put the beat on, and I was literally from there. I was like, this is one for the history books, and I was like, cool, say no more. That's the start of the album, and then everything just got penned and progressed from there in it. So from originally, I'd say the intro, but then I'm really liking Cool Fine at the moment with Lauren Chantel. I really enjoy that song just because obviously I'm talking about men's mental health and things that need to be discussed at the moment, and anxiety within our agenda, and the ability to speak up on it to one another. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I love it, and I think that there's this essence of like vulnerability through the whole tape where you're talking about things that I think as men, as artists, you know, and sometimes just as people, we don't want to show that vulnerability. We don't want to show that there's this thing that's stopping us. If it's our own ability, if it's our own mental health, whatever. Like, I think a lot of that comes through. So actually, even for that, thank you. You know, like I feel more artists need to be a bit more vulnerable in what they do, especially.
It needs to be that. The reason I chose the creative direction of the actual album cover is obviously tearing away layers to who I actually am. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I've got that as the album artwork. And I feel like obviously there's a stigma as a rapper or someone aspiring to be a role model in this industry to not speak about your problems because you're trying to make people feel better. But I feel like it needs to be the other way around. Like, it's okay to feel the way you feel because I feel like that. But if I'm talking about it, maybe you should as well. And through the music, we can have a conversation through that sort of thing. So I feel like it's a bit silly to mask away your feelings, and when someone hears your music and they say, "Oh yeah, you must feel like that," but I don't feel like that, because it's always going to be a fact of who takes care of the man who takes care of himself, innit? Like it don't make sense. Like you obviously feel that way too. Let's just have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
And it's okay, innit? So that's it.
Yeah. The key thing is like reaching out through that isolation, because that's what it's like. There's, you know, it's a very common reaction, like go through some hardship and then like just walls go up and you're just trying to like project the strength, but like all you're doing is kind of like just enclosing, I don't know, the sadness, the difficulty. The key is to like reach out through the isolation. So big up yourself, boy. Big up yourself. We saw it with Jen as well when he was on the last episode, like being able to like broach these issues in like popular music or pop music. Is not easy. Is not something that is done without difficulty. So yeah, man, big up yourself. Big up yourself.
No, of course. Like, obviously, let's get it this way. Like, it's always going to be a case in mainstream music. It's always going to be feel good music because that's what sells, isn't it? Whatever makes you feel good is what it's going to sell. Because people want the escape of what they're going through and stuff like that. But me personally, whenever I feel problems and stuff like that, sometimes I don't need the feel good music. I need to deal with the issue there and then. So that's who I'm making the music for. People that want to get into their feeling and really resolve their struggles. So
interesting. That's reminding me of something. I watched Kano did Neuron Talks, and him and Getz's episode. They were talking about how like since lockdown they've actually started listening to more soulful music and music that they're more aware of the time and what's going on, rather than just that party stuff where if you're not in a shubs, if you're not in a club, it loses a bit of meaning. Whereas these things that have the grounding human elements, they really will always resonate.
Yeah, that's it.
But we've got one segment You know, this is Braceman's favorite. We are having a interlude. We are having a Julie interlude.
No, man.
Yes.
Allow it.
Yeah, we have.
I would rather listen to a drill.
I would rather listen to actual drill, man.
No. In all seriousness, I got open mind in it. I got open mind, but let's just say all of my experience. Okay, the vast majority of my experience doesn't give me hope. But can we go in it?
Don't worry, I may have you today. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to the track again just to make sure I got the right bars. But Idris, do you have a favorite drill bar? Favorite drill track in mind at all that you'd like to share with the people?
See, I was taking a lot of thought into this. The reason why I don't have a favorite drill lyric is the same reason why I don't have my least favorite drill lyric, because there's not enough substance to put a judgment on either or. Do you get what I'm saying? What I'll do is I'll just recall something that made my head go back a little bit. There's a YouTube channel that does this thing called "What the Fuck Drill Bars" on, and I'll take a listen to that for comedic purposes. And I believe it's from Ivorian Doll.
Shout out.
Who says I believe I'm paraphrasing probably, but they say I'm leaking from the STDs that I've got.
Oh my face.
And that's, it's not something that resonates through me, but it's definitely stained. It's definitely stained the brain more than resonated. So yeah, that haunts me to this day.
No.
Oh my god. Oh man.
But yeah, I can't remember the YouTube channel, but shout out if you want some comedic value, What the Fuck Drill Bars.
What
on YouTube still.
What the fuck?
Yeah, WTF Drill Bars, yeah.
Oh my.
Give me a second. Yeah. I was gonna really get this bar, but I'm just gonna say, see that outrageous behavior there, yeah? That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
Man said that's what I'm here for.
I said that's what I'm here for.
Remember what we used to skank to with Grime? We used to skank to man telling us about their shopping deliveries and that. That's what I'm saying.
Grime's got some ridiculous lyrics. What's it? Man said, "This card is out, and I'll bang your father out." Like what? Bro, there's outrageousness in everything, innit? But yeah, it's a thing where you have to laugh on these things, bro. Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry, innit?
No, it's true. It's true. I don't know. Maybe it's what is it, like prejudice of my age, my era.
Yes. I'm telling you,
know? Of course it is, but like I don't know. I just find, I don't know, man. I just feel like Grime had it all, and everything else just doesn't quite come to the same heights.
No, I'm telling you, drill is getting there.
It can be definitely worked on. I think it can definitely be worked on. I feel like for it to elevate to a place where it needs to go, I feel like people need to have a bit more of an open mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like you need to
if people are obviously like, oh, I'm grime, they're not gonna have the vision that someone else has on the matter. Do you get what I'm saying? So like I'm grime through and through. I love grime music. If I'm going to a rave, there has to be grime. Like it's that. But the drill thing, I've heard some drill tunes that I'm happy to say that I've saved it on my Spotify Spotify library and stuff like that. Innit? So
let me give you another one. So this one's it's Simba Shaw and Hargo. The track is called Easy. And the first bar is one of my favorite things. If it weren't for the feds, then it would have been easy. Me and bro had plans for the money, but this life ain't easy. Simple things of if it weren't for the feds, this tin would because I can live that. When I was younger, do you know what stopped me from gaining? It was actually the law. I can't lie to you, man. I was scared. I wasn't scared of getting yanked. I was scared of the feds. Okay, like it was the realest. Like
it's the biggest gang in London, isn't it? So I can hear that. I can hear that.
I'm telling you,
devil's advocate. So say there's no feds. So the thing would have been easy, but then everything else would have been harder.
Nah, what do you mean?
Man.
No. What is it?
It's the same for everybody, innit? So
what he's saying in this bar is of all the obstacles wait. What I feel like he means from this bar is of all the obstacles that we could have had on road, ops, anything else that could have stopped us from being on top. If it weren't for so he's not discounting everything else. He's not discounting that there's people out there that want to rob him, people out here who want to take his life. But he's saying the actual issue was the feds. That's why I like it, because it's like sometimes it's about it's not just about what they're saying, it's about what they're not saying as well. It's about who they're not giving any props to. Like
if I'm also gonna play devil's advocate, sometimes if you change the rules, it don't change the difficulty. If you get what I'm saying. So the law is the rules, innit? Do you get me? So if there weren't no rules, it don't make it easier or harder. It just makes it looser. Do you get me? So
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what you've done it in a much more eloquent.
If you change, well, it can be 11 aside or monkey rush 5v5. If you're playing against Barca, it's still gonna be hard. Do you get me? So
that's what I'm saying. What he's saying in that bar is he is Barca. He's saying the only thing that's stopping Barca from scoring God knows how many goals is the ref saying, no, you can do that.
He's saying more about you than it is about my man. My interpretation is so silver linings, bro.
I genuinely thought that I heard that the whole track is obviously about them getting it. It's about like the obstacles of getting it, and it's just so I'm saying like from the whole track. I'm picking up the fact that they said they had the plans. They said they got what it takes to make it. It was just.
Bro, say the bar again. Say the bar again.
It's the first bar in the track. Says if it weren't for the feds, it would have been easy. Me and bro made plans for the P's, but this life ain't easy. So it's just like. I mean, I just like it. I like it. I think it's got essence, and it's just simple things like that.
It definitely plays on the less is more type of. I like it, especially as you said. It's the start of the. I'll rate that one still.
Yeah, hear the track anyways. Yeah, everyone else as well. Check the track out. There's obviously a few more bars in that, the actual bars in that. But I'm just saying that was the one that I was like, cool. This is getting my playlist.
Yeah.
So shout out the drill man, them. Shout out everyone who's doing bits of drill, man. I really want to.
Shout out you, man, innit?
Hey, I tell you what, there's some dark sides of drill though, and I kind of like it. You see you've heard of the Zone 2 man, the minute.
Sorry,
the zone, Zone 2.
Yeah.
That them's are my peoples. Probably out of fear, more than respect. They're my people still. That's it. I can't rant with those people, man. I'm just a nice guy from Upminster trying to make a living. That's all it is.
Yeah, we're friendly neighborhood rappers out here, man.
Friendly neighborhood rappers. Shout everyone on the hustle, man. But Idris, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, I've been privy to you for a while, and I've loved everything you've been doing and everything you're going on. I wish you the big success, bro. Everyone do check out what Idris is doing. Check out the album. Go on his socials. You say you got a show coming up. What's next? What people got to look forward to now, bro?
February 19th, I've got a remix to Different Space coming out. It's by my guy More Night. We thought it was soft and chilled on the tune, but we've made it garage and hype in it, so we're doing it that way. Music videos are in planning. The show is out March the 6th, so if you can get tickets, please come through. It's almost sold out, so please be quick. And I'm already working on project number 2, so I'm pretty sure I'll be back on this podcast soon, innit?
Boy, that's what I like to hear. Obviously, can't wait to have you back on when that second project is finished. Obviously, we got to chat through it as well. What's the socials, my brother?
You can follow me on Instagram. That's IDRISMILES_. Idris Miles on everything else. Listen, subscribe to my YouTube. I've got Spotify. I'm on all streaming platforms. And you jump on my DMs, man. I'm sociable, bruv. I'm not one of these guys that don't like to talk. So come talk to me.
He's sociable, you know. He's sociable. So yeah, I'm getting close to me,
darling. Put up in your foot.
We'll leave them with BR and his gigs. Bless you, man.